The first day the war came to Uvira, I was here in Uvira with my family. I got lost.
Back in the refugee camp, did you think of coming back to Burundi?
It was so hopeless. I have a number of events of my childhood when I was growing.
A happy childhood until war changed everything.
I lived in a very happy family.
No one protected him.
Nobody from your family to be there to bring a hand to fight for you. So I was very vulnerable. I did the primary one in Mutabira refugee camp, what we call Zone A.
And now, an unexpected leap into politics.
So I never expected that today I would be running as an MP for these upcoming elections, June 2025.
Friends feel his absence.
We miss Julius. If he could have been here, we could have been conducting some good debates on those matters.
And maybe to become like an independent MP, can we say that that's probably the final destination?
This long journey with Christ for long 18 years. And I don't regret a penny. First and foremost, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for hosting us in your studio, a nice one.
We're humbled.
I'm Jules Niyongabo. I'm a Burundian, born in Bujumbura. I'm a believer, born-again Christian, but also I'm a pastor. And I am a consultant, dealing with language bridging, but also conference senior interpreter. I have been an entrepreneur for a number of years. I have a company of interpretation where I employ almost like 20 part-time interpreters and translators. And then also now have started doing farming and livestock growing. In a few words, that's Julius. And then I'm married, happily married, father of two young, beautiful baby girls. Yes, thank you.
That's interesting and huge. I think you're going to have a very interesting story about Julius. So, today we see that you are doing a lot of things in there, maybe for the country, for the community. I would like just to share with us maybe how Jill, when he was a little kid, can you just draw us a picture of Jill when back in the years when you were born, you grew up. Draw us just a picture so that we can go more about that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have a very long memory. And I have a number of events of my childhood when I was growing. I can remember when I was like almost 2 years and a half when my young brother was born, still like a 2 or 3 months old baby. I remember I was told one day he was sick. Then my parents had to drive long distances at night, taking him to hospital. Then I was in the same car with my mother, then with my father, because I was the almost 2.5 years old kid. They couldn't afford to live at home. So after that, I remember growing up. I remember I was born in 1989. I remember in 1993 getting our first sister in the family. I lived in a very happy family. We were in a very comfortable lifestyle. My father was at that point a very successful business man. He was a self-made man. He didn't do long studies. He only had primary 3, but he was very successful to the extent in his generation he was the first young man to pay his own dowry the day he went for marriage to my mom. And then growing up in 1993, you know what happened? I still live this as a movie because a lot of things has happened. Families were disrupted, lives were disrupted in Burundi. And then I remember in 1993, people campaigning, president. I didn't know by then that the president was being elected. But sometimes after, started seeing things changing around, people coming to my home looking for refuge. My father taking some of his businesses from the shops bringing them to hide them in our home. I started seeing some of the employees he had that were dealing with his brewing and beer selling businesses coming to sleep at our home. So I could see something not going well in the family, in the community. That is about 1995 in November. I was 6 years old. That day was the last day I slept in that home. That day we moved from, it was here around Musaga, up there around Musaga. We flew from there to Kubumwe at the unit monument. Around 10, 11, my father came because he had businesses in the town. He wasn't with us most of the time. He came, he picked us, and we crossed the border of Burundi to Zaire, the now DRC. That time, we went there, we lived for almost 1 year. So then it came 1996 when the war came to DRC. The first day the war came to Uvira, I was here in Uvira with my family. I got lost. I was almost 7 years old. I got lost. We kept on running toward the south of Lake Tanganyika. And the first day I afforded to remember some friends in the neighborhood. So I hooked to them because I had no parents, no any relative around me. And then I remember staying calm, cool, not a naughty boy, knowing the situation. The survival instinct rose at that very time. So I stick to those families. I remember at some other times in the night, people could be killed. On the daylight, people could be killed. Others kidnapped. It was very, very bad. So they decided we should cross Lake Tanganyika to go in Tanzania. That's where the journey to Tanzania started. I was a kid just laying down in the boat. Mature people just sitting around because I was a kid and I couldn't afford paying it. So I had to make sure I am the smallest person in the boat because others could afford paying it.
That's true.
Yeah, so then I landed to Tanzania. First, I was in a Muyovozi camp, refugee camp. And then I got a very familiar face that I met in DRC.
That's in the Kigoma region?
Yes, in Kigoma region. And the person took me in his house. He was living in Mutabira.
Yeah.
So thank God I was able to continue my studies. I studied the primary one in Mutabira refugee camp, what we call Zone A. Yes, I was living on the first venue, number 1.
You can still remember that?
Yes, I can see the pictures. That was beside, you could cross a river. They called the river Ruvionza. That's Ruvionza on the side of Tanzania, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
If I remember well, my memory is good.
Because it goes until Tanzania. Though.
Yes, it crosses. And then if you come from the office of the UNHCR, you just crossed it straight to our home on the First Avenue, the number 1 building. Yeah.
How did you unite with your parents?
The guy who hosted me, he took a number of journeys from the refugee camp to Kigoma trying to call my parents because this annual books where you could find anyone's number from Onatel. Yes, so he managed to get my father's. I knew my father's name, by the way.
Yeah.
So I was blessed enough to tell him my father's names. Then he went in Kigoma, maybe to the embassy, I don't know. He managed to call my father, tell him that I was sick. So my father tried to organize. It was a kind of human trafficking because there was no way I could come back officially to Burundi. Only through that path I could be able to travel, to be smuggled through those smuggling ways, and then to come to Burundi that way. So, but he attempted once, twice, 3 times. He couldn't succeed. Till I was helped by many other people that my mother reached out to.
How was your life in a refugee camp, growing up, studying there? Because you said you studied grade 1. You studied grade 1,
I stayed there for 2 years.
2 years?
So I managed to do just the first year of primary school.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Back in the refugee camp, did you think of coming back to Burundi?
It was so hopeless. I remember one day I was in a very lonely situation. I remembered my siblings, my sisters, my mother. So whenever I could remember about them, I remember I couldn't afford the crying before the people were hosting because they were so good enough to me. So at some point, it's like they never wanted to see me in a situation of desperation. So I always hid myself when I wanted to cry. I could go out of the compound and stay there for hours, just crying, think about my mother, my siblings, the situation, and I knew my mother was going a lot trying to find me, and she went through a lot. She has spoiled all her money. Everybody, she could be crying on the streets in the DRC, calling my name. People could say, "We have seen your kid here and there." She could be giving all her money. She had dollars. The dollars were finished. Some form of, you don't have your elder brothers around you to protect you.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody from your family to be there to bring a hand to fight for you. So I was very vulnerable. I remember I had one of the relatives from the family that hosted me. His name was Frank Beni. He was one of the person who was very kind to me. He could stand there. He was like 1 year older than me, but he was so good to stay there and fight for me even when we go for soccer to protect me. Yeah, he was so protective. Yes, to me and him, we like he was living in has been living abroad, but a few years ago he's back to Burundi. He's now in Igitega, helping communities in Ruyigi. He and his wife, they are doing such a great, amazing in Burundi, helping communities. Yes, I remember that time it was not easy, and we started. I was also happy at school. I can remember we were singing the songs like Raisi wetu nani, Raisi wetu Mukapa.
Yes.
Those songs. It was by the time Mukapa was the president of Tanzania, 97. At the end of the year, I got to my my report card. I was successful. Then I came back to Burundi.
How did you then come back to Burundi and integrate and do Lycée like Tanganyika? And finally go to University of Burundi and do
yes. My mother and the family around, they found some other guys who came there to get me. He was a very familiar person. He's like an uncle to me. We lived together in DRC in the refugee camp. My mother has been so helpful to them. So they were like paying back the wood she did to them. The uncle came. He found me in Tanzania. He managed to bring me and some of the other family members. So we left the camp officially and legally, crossing to Kigoma. And from Kigoma, we took a boat to the port of Bujumbura. That was in 1997, around August, something like that.
Okay.
And then coming from there, I came with my report card. My report card, you understand, yeah?
Yeah, I understand.
Yes, from primary 1, and then I continued studying in primary school, Gatumba. Yes, Gatumba 4, what you call Gatumba 1 and Gatumba 3, primary school. And then from there, I went to Lycée de Tanganyika straight.
Okay.
Lycée de Tanganyika, and I did my high school from 7th form to the first form in the art section. Where I graduated, and from there I went to the National University, and I did law.
You did law.
So I took advantage of the situation, of those bad moments, because I was there for a few years, but I ended up being there for 6 years in the University of Burundi. So before even I graduate for my law degree, I had to go to my diploma, my theological degree already. So the other degree I got in Korea is there is a theological institute that is developing Christian leaders in the church sector, but also in the secular. And then they teach about principles of leadership, how to generate and emerge new leaders with new ideas, positively impacting the communities. Yes. Yeah, that's where I got the other degree from Seoul, which I got last February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And also, you are the managing director of the GTT company.
Yeah.
What does it stand for, and what is it about?
It is a general transcending trade company. General, it's a general aspect of businesses, but the focus is on consulting. Yes, consulting. I also at some point was an English teacher. I still do some capacity building in English for people who are living in abroad in areas where they speak English, they want to improve their English. They reach out to us. We do some online courses to improve their skills in talking, listening, but also writing and reading. So that's what stands for GTT. Say it is transcending because we have to transcend at some forms. So mainly what we're doing here, it is the consulting we do to international organizations in terms of interpretation, translation of documents. We have a partnership with a number of organizations here for simultaneous interpretations of conferences. I have served a number of institutions from the top to down. Yes,
that's cool.
I have worked a number of meetings that have been happening here from a government side, private sector, international organizations, local communities, church staff. I'm one of your interpreters at the test ground. For those who may remember, even during the Kanguka crusade that happened 1 year, 2 years ago at Tiskamenge, I was part of the interpretation team that was there to serve the Lord and the people of God, but also the nation as well. So I have almost I started interpreting 18 years ago. In Korea, in Seoul, when I was doing this program, it happened that people were speaking French from Ivory Coast, from Guinea, people from Congo who were not very fluent in English. So I had to assist them with interpretation from English to French, facilitate. And also there was a big issue because the Korean English, from Korean to English, the Korean English, you have to be familiar to some keywords for you to understand some context. So it was a way of helping and assisting. And also I find myself doing interpretation.
That's great. Just share with us a little bit about maybe your speech. I don't know, can we call it a spiritual life or what?
Spiritual background.
Maybe something like that. What is it about?
I became a born-again Christian when I was 17 years old. From that time on, I started serving Jesus Christ as the Lord of my life. I gave a lot up on a lot of things. I'm telling you. Excuse me.
It's fine.
I gave up on a number of things. I gave up on a lot of ambitions back then because I consecrated myself to Christ. So through my service to the Lord, I have traveled. I have went for missions in many countries in the region, but also overseas. And I have been to some very, very remote areas. I can tell you one of the places I went, I spent there 3 days and it was impossible even to drink water. It was in the beginning of my missionary journey. I didn't have the idea or the behavior of driving with my own water, or I didn't have the idea of traveling with my own bottles of water. So I went there. I asked for water. They went to the river. They fetched the water from the river and they poured in the cup. And I was drinking the water. I saw snakes playing in the water. And there was no way I could give back the water because when you're a missionary, you have to comply with whatever situation you find on the field. So I drank a little bit, just small like this. The 3 days I spent there, I lost almost 4 kilos of my weight. 4 kilos. Back home, I suffered a lot of diseases, including diarrhea and whatever. Excuse me for the expression. I was running, I'm telling you. So that was very tough. I remember they brought me a kind of meat. I wondered, is this meat? Is this cow, goat, or maybe some rat? I was afraid of eating some jelly. So I was just eating cassava bread and the water. Or cassava leaves, not the soup. I was avoiding it because I never knew that was a cat. I never knew it was maybe a rat. I was very confused. So I was afraid of eating Tom and Jerry. So I said, I will stick to this Bugali cassava bread and cassava leaves.
Yeah, that's true.
For 3 days. It was so tough. And then I went south to Kalemi. Yeah, I've been there. It was even also scary because this Lake Tanganyika, on the other side, my friend, there are a lot of waves. I remember the day we went there,
strong wind there.
Yeah, strong wind. So we could see the port, but because of the waves, when the boats reached there before or after 2 p.m.
Yeah, it's like they're about to collapse.
Yes. So the boat has to stay at certain miles away from the port, waiting for the lake to cool down before it would approach the port and to
get out of the port.
To get out of the boat, yes, the boat. So it wasn't easy. And I stayed there. I did ministry for 2 weeks. So that's my background as a minister. And then there are a lot of things, a lot of stories, testimonies, local in Bujumbura, then people lives that we impacted. We don't boast about this. We boast of how we've been in this long journey with Christ for long 18 years. And I don't regret a penny. Throughout this experience I shared already, I had some ambitions. I loved the politics back in school. I loved being even we could have some debates with my classmates about politics, about a lot of stuff, about the geopolitics, the regional conflicts going on, African conflicts going on, having debates on the Western civilization, revolutions, secession war, a lot of debates about all these events, a number of events of the past. So I was so good on that. So some of my friends, when they reached the university, some went to do political sciences, and they were like, "Oh, we miss Julius. If you could have been here, we could have been conducting some good debates on those matters." So I never expected that today I would be running as an MP for these upcoming elections in June 2025. So it started last year in April last year. That was 9th April last year. We had a gathering at my home. We were praying for my wife. She was pregnant, but we saw some signs of we had to pray, and then we prayed. Instead of getting a feedback on the prayers about my wife, a voice came up. Somebody who was in the group of prayer said, "We see you in these positions and this and this." I said, "No way." I told God, there's no way I could be doing this stuff. I have given up about this a long time ago. I'm not coming back on those subjects. So the voice kept on coming. God was pushing me toward coming to this, reviving the aspirations, the ambitions that I had, raising them up, pushing them up. So I gave God a number of conditions. After 5 long months of fight, denial to this calling, I surrendered. That was in August. To shortcut the conditions, one of the conditions was that my bishop accepted this, because I had the background of me being part of non-government organizations, humanitarians, local humanitarian organizations. I named about Nanjanobaho. The leaders or the team of Nanjanobaho, we started this organization when we were finishing the high school. Tanganyika, we gathered together and we brought up this idea. We found a name. We got registered by the ministry, Home Affairs Ministry. I was part of the team, but because of following the path of the gospel, I gave up. And also, the bishop advised me not to follow that. He didn't want me to go into politics. So he could have been one of the reasons I shouldn't have come to run. But as I was in that denial fight, saying, no, there's no way I come in, he called me. He told me, I see you serving this country in a number of things that I cannot mention here.
Okay.
So I told him, I've been fighting this voice for 5 months. So now I was defeated for the better.
And now
because I was in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was living just a comfort life, no problems with anybody. I'm very acquainted with many people from sides to sides, from trends to trends, beliefs and beliefs, opinions to opinions, different people. So when you start running for these kind of things, there are some positions you have to take. There are some positions, some ideas, aspirations you have to share, that we make sure you don't stay in the same position. We in same understanding, in same acquaintance with some people who have different opinions and views, even though it's not for like a fighting, or maybe there is always a competitiveness between ideas and opinions that stays there whenever you come to those kind of stuff or politics. The aspect of having improvement, to improve the leadership, to improve how the nation is being run, to make sure decisions that are made acquaints or matches the views, the opinions of those younger generations who are coming, to make sure we can embody what the wide picture of the younger generations, to make sure we can have a form like a number of projects and a number of programs or political manifesto that can add value to what is the dreams or the dream of the younger people that we have in the nation. So I am here with my dreams. I'm here like just a dreamer, a committed citizen who want to see a better future of this nation, in the governance, in the education, in the health sector. It's like when you come to run, you are not that special, but it's becoming a servant to the people. It is a servanthood that makes people come up to listen from you, from that one, to find that time to listen from the aspirations, the idea, the dreams of other people. And then you go with the power that is embodied in you as a person in a position of or a decision maker to implement the views and dreams of the people.
That's true. Be from the young Mr. Niyongabo to DRC, Tanzania, come back to Burundi, studying the Setback Tanganyika, doing law at University of Burundi, theology. Can we say that that's where you were heading, and maybe to become like an independent MP? Can we say that that's probably the final destination?
As I said, running as an MP, like entering the political sphere of this country, it is a rebirth of what got lost when I came to Christ. Well, it wasn't lost. I'm not using the right words, but it was sidelined because I had focused on serving God. So I never expected a guy would bring this desire and envy right back to me. I think I was shaped by the background to face a lot of challenges, to face a number of tough time. And even when I was sharing my background as a Christian, you heard that I went in places that an ordinary citizen who was born in this city, who has been in a comfortable life, wouldn't be daring afford, because why going there? If some other people, when it is about to go and preach and serve Jesus, we took a plane and we go to America, to Europe, we dream about, but I started dreaming going in the communities, in Makamba, Nyanzarake, in Rutana, in Muyinga. We have churches have been going through all those, some of our missions there.
What can you just tell that person who's growing, listening to Jill, or that path? What did you learn? And you can tell the people who are listening to you.
To never give up, to set principles and stick to them. Because the value of a man is how consistent you are. You know, we are living in an era where we want to become rich in the twinkle of the eyes. We want to
You
improve.
want to download it.
Yes, in the twinkle of the eyes, I'm going to get my MBs and download success. In 2 minutes, I will be successful. I cannot tell you the things I have been trying, but all that I tried was doing it without compromising my values, compromising my ethics, because people, they will give you trust if they see you being the same in a consistent way in the long run. If today you are brown, tomorrow you become black, and the next day you are yellow, then green. People will wonder, who is this guy? So whatever skills you have, there is no small skills. Whatever competence you have, make sure you are the best on doing what you do.
No, that's true. That's true.
So you may have a lot of things that you are doing, but find the most leading skill you have.
Stick on it.
Stick on it. Be consistent. Never give up. It will come straight to you or straight to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. That's good. That's good.
There is now no need of forcing things. Just be you. Do what you are called to do. What you have to do. In the time and the position you have to do it. Be hard worker. Be committed. Be never give up. But forge yourself. Improve your skills. Improve your competencies.
Yeah.
Your capacities. Build up.
Be excellent.
Be excellent. Be the best in whatever you are good at. For example, you, the way I see you, don't try to be those kind of guys who are flying on the roof just to ask. They're asking you questions, but they fly over the roof.
Yeah.
The way you are.
Yeah.
In the top, in this show, people will say, "Oh, this guy is very wise." So you will get the wise one. If you are this flying high, you get those who are flying high. No stability at all.
That's true.
So we need to get stability. We need to be committed. We need to be diligent. And we need to be who you are.
Thank you so much for coming. It has been our pleasure to have you here.
All the pleasure has been mine to come and be hosted in your wonderful studio. I'm telling you guys, it is a wonderful studio, a nice staff, a nice team. So I'm so happy and blessed to know you and also to work along in this journey. So I'll be almost very open to your invitation. Whensoever it shows up, I'll be making sure I respond to your invitation.
We are humbled.
It's just the beginning. Thank you.
You're welcome.